Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm playing. Y'all already know that's not my real voice. Hello, welcome to my channel, Down and Dirty with your girl Dee Dee. Hey, first of all, I have to say RIP to Jiggly Caliente. Yes, you can call me Jiggly. For those that don't know, drag queen, legend in the game, been around for a very, very, very long time. And she tragically passed away this past week. So, RIP, girlie. We love you. Peace and blessings up there in the sky. And we'll see you when we get there, you know. So, love you, Jiggly. Now, on to the video of the day, which is Flip a Page Friday. Yes. I wish y'all could see the books, but y'all know I'm a big bag. And it's just not happening because the books is on the third row and I'm not gonna squat for however long. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not in that kind of shape. That's for those professional ladies, okay? Not a professional lady. Maybe one day. I'm playing. I'm not gonna be, it's just not gonna happen. And I'm about to be 30. So I don't got Megan knees. I got Medea knees, and that's what it is. And that's where we are. And that's okay. Sometimes you gotta accept that you're old. Don't be in denial. It's okay. Let it go. Because I'm about ready to get out these 20s. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm ready. I'm over it. Officially over it. Anywho, today we're gonna do a recommendation on a book series that I read last year. And I'm currently in the process of rereading the series because the series was just that great. I think you have like some book series where, the plot may have been good, but then everything else wasn't. Or where the schmexy scenes were good, but like there was no plot, And I love a good schmexy scene. That's the side. That's the starch and your vegetables, your sides, right? Okay, I need a meat in 3, right? I need a meat though. I need the protein, which is the plot. Okay, which is the I can't survive off of mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese. I'm not gonna get the nutrition that I need. That's a good addition, but I still need that steak. Okay, medium, seasoned well, please. Thank you. Anywho, I really cannot do just the schmexy stuff anymore. I think I had like a little small sliver of time where that was like a cute thing. Like, ew, if it don't got no schmexy in it, I'm not reading it. Now I'm just like, okay, well, where's the plot? Because I can go to a incognito tab if I want that. Okay, but I need something more. I need this to make sense. I need there to be purpose in what's happening. And jasminemas, she does that for me. And this series did that for me because I wouldn't necessarily say I was sitting in a book slump when I read these books, but I was in I was trying to beat my Kindle Unlimited goal. Because my goal was really just like 47 books for the year, because the year before, so 2023, I only read 46 books, which moment of silence for me for that. I was having a bad time. It was a bad time, y'all. It was a bad time. So 2024, I was like, I have to read at least 47. And then when I got to 47, so mind you, I didn't really start reading until halfway through the year. So I read about 40 books in between the end of July, middle of end of July, all the way through to December. So I read these books in December. It's the Psycho Shifters series, by the way, guys, because I definitely didn't say that, but I'm going to say it now. I said jasminemas, and I think automatically everybody is going to think about The Blood of Hercules, which I have not read that series because it's not completed. And one thing you're going to learn about me and what I recommend for you guys to read for my book girlies and boys and everybody in between, I'm not going to, 9 times out of 10, so let me not say never, okay? But 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to recommend anything that's not completed. I waited 4 years for one book. I'm in the process of waiting. I just waited 3.5 for another book, only to find out there's going to be a fifth book that doesn't have a release date. And it took her about 4 years to get this one out. So I'm stressed and annoyed. So I'm not going to have you guys stressed and annoyed. I'm going to give you guys finished products. Okay, finished. Now, even though this series is finished, I feel like the way that it ended, she's leaving it open for a potential spinoff of some of the characters that were in the Psycho Shifters series. So books 1 through 3 follow the first girl and her harem, which, for you guys that don't know, the reverse harem, obviously a harem is a guy with at least 2 to 3 more women. And now the reverse harem obviously is the female with 2 to more with the men. Okay. I really am going to try to keep it somewhat realistic with the ones that I recommend to you guys. And I say somewhat realistic because if I'm being honest, I definitely read a series that was supposed to only have, she was only supposed to have 6 mates, okay, 6 husbands eventually. And then next thing I know, she has 11, okay, 11. So that's crazy. And that gets to be a lot in the book scheme of things. And so I'm not going to lie, y'all, I'm going to try to keep it like less than that. But if you guys want that, let me know. I've read a few that I can recommend, but I'm gonna try to keep them like, 6 or less, because when you get past 6, like after eventually you run, not even eventually, you've already ran out of orifices by the time you got to 6. So some of these girls be having 9, 10, 11. I saw one that was like 15 and I said, I'm not reading that. That's crazy. It's not happening. So I won't do that to you guys. So we're going to talk about this book, this series. So the first 3 follow the original main character and her story. The second set, which is 4, 5, and 6, follow her best friend's story, which you are introduced to her best friend in the first 3 series. And those characters, not all of them, because through 4 through 6, she does meet different mates along the way that we don't meet in books 1 through 3. So let me tell y'all. First, I didn't understand that. I didn't know that that was a thing that people did. I had not come across a series that did that, and I absolutely loved it. I think that it was really good because oftentimes I feel when we're reading books and series and we fall in love with characters and then they have very other prominent, supporting characters, we often want to know more. I always want to know more. I'm like, okay, know what their story is, because now she's got a few menses, or she went through this, and now I need to know more. I need the backstory. I need the past, the future, and the present. Okay, I need it all. So I really enjoyed the fact that it was a different main character for books 4 through 6, but I still got to see our main characters and supporting characters from books 1 through 3. So in this series, let me tell you, I honestly don't know where to start. I am not going to give like any super details. The most I'm going to give you is that it's an academy with like training military. It's still paranormal. So for me, when I first started reading outside of, I would say, contemporary and just regular romance books, paranormal was the name. Now we've got a lot more. We got romantasy. We have the dark romance. You have all these different subcategories, but I do categorize it as like a paranormal because there's shifters, there's fae, there's magic. There's a lot going on in these books across the time, and there's gods in there too. Well, they're demigods, but still. And there's actual gods that are, I almost gave it away. You almost got me. But I did not. So I'm going to rein that back in before I start spoiling stuff. But there's a lot going on between books 1, 2, and 3 alone. There's a lot going on in book 1. Book 1, crazy. And it keeps going like that. And in each book, I think it progressively gets better. And book 6, y'all. When I tell you I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I took the book to the bathroom with me. By the book, I mean my tablet, because I use the Kindle app on the tablet. I read too much to buy books. One day, hopefully, I can be one of those book girlies that gets books sent to her. But again, it's expensive. Okay. The series that I'm talking to you guys about right now, I think it's like $100 to buy just that one series. I've already read like 50 books this year. I don't see that in my future. Okay. I don't see the physical book buying in the future. It's not going to happen. But I took the Kindle to the bathroom. I was not playing around. I was not playing around. That book had me clutching my pearls. My pearls. I got 17 gray hairs reading that book alone. The trauma and the drama, everything was great. I think the only critique I have would be in the last book, the very ending. And I think in the comment section of Kindle, it was kind of mentioned. However, it could have been a little bit shorter. There was a little bit of an unnecessary, or they could have been, like I said, shorter into an epilogue, so I think that would be my only critique about this book series. But you can find almost anything you're looking for in here for my reverse harem girlies. The enemies to lovers tropes. You have some sword crossing, a lot of sword crossing. There's some sword crossing that happens in the first book that prior to the main character getting smexy with anybody, and had me shook. Okay, shook, y'all. I'm sitting here reading this like, I'm not froze. I'm just still shook thinking about the fact that I'm going to reread this portion in a few pages. Like, wow. Um, wow. Okay. And the comedy. Okay, the comedy in these books is insane because it's a different kind of comedy. It's not a obvious comedy for me. I feel it's more so a comedy, an unhinged comedy. Like, you can tell there's obviously something wrong up here, but it's hilarious. Nobody's unaliving the wrong people. Well, are they? You'll have to read to find out. Anywho, it's not like the main characters literally lost the plot. but she's unhinged. And the more you read, the more you'll find out about why she is unhinged in that manner. But even all of the other sub characters, they're all unhinged. Everybody in these books are unhinged, and the unhinged comedy is gold. Okay, gold. And it's true enemies to lovers. Okay, and we go from enemies to lovers back to enemies to lovers. Okay, there's a lot of back and forth between a few of them. There's trauma within the actual characters and the harems. The plot twists that unfold in the last few books. Oh, I wasn't ready. Y'all aren't ready. Okay, I'm not sure because I haven't read The Blood of Hercules. Just obviously, like I said, it's unfinished. And the second book doesn't come out until October. And so I'm not gonna read that yet. I'm not gonna read it yet. But I don't know if she's going through the same kind of layout. Because when I read the synopsis, it was kind of given the same kind of like overall plot, but obviously different characters, different everything in between. I don't know if she's keeping the same thing, but I'm excited to read the Hercules series, and I'm excited for her to finish it. Because when I tell you the way she had me like this, the way was crying, the way that I was laughing, the way that I was shook, moments I thought I was gonna have a panic attack. This is so good. I feel like it's very hard for me now, seeing as I have read, so many books over my lifetime. I've been a reader since I was a kid. Back in middle school when we used to write our little names in the back and check it out in the little stamp card at the library, and everybody's going to be Destiny. I got your book. Like, hey girl, that one was good. That one was trash. I've always been a reader. One time I got grounded. Donna took away my books. She didn't even just take away the books, Rob. She took away the dictionary too. I don't even remember what I did. It probably wasn't that crazy, but she took away my books. She used to take away the TV, whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna go read anyways. Nah, she knew I was really in trouble that time. She took away the books and the dictionary. It's not like I was going to be over here reading Merriam-Webster. Like, no, but still. Yeah, she took away everything. I didn't even get to go to church that Sunday. That's how bad it was. I don't remember what I did, though. Maybe I ran away. I did run away one time to the dentist. That's a story time for another day. But back on the subject, jasminemas, the Psycho Shifters series, and the art of the books. And so I don't know what they look like physically on Kindle, but I know like actually like buying actual paperback or a hardback book, because I know that her Blood of Hercules series really took off faster, even though it's not completed, and her other series is. But when everybody else was talking about Sarah J. Maas, I was over here with Jasmine, and we were living and we were thriving. I think that she is very, 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 very good at what she does. And I don't know else to explain to you how good she writes and how thorough she is with finishing the plot, answering the questions that I have, answering questions I didn't know I needed to have. And there's so much in the book. So this is why definitely I'm reading it twice. I couldn't reread it twice last year because I was trying to get to 60 books, but I'm rereading it now because I have to. I need it. I need to really, and I haven't read it in a long time, but I really need to reread it. I keep seeing the Blood of Hercules, so I keep having that, ooh, I know how good her other series was, and I keep thinking about it, and I haven't had any like books so far, I feel, this year that I truly remember at this point in time that I was just like, that series actually put me in a book slump afterwards, because after I don't, how do you top that? Because now it feels like a chore for me to keep reading, because I'm still thinking about, you know, those scenes and the writing and the world she built and the worlds, not just one world, not two worlds, but three worlds we enter. Okay, or is it four? Might be four. This is why I need to reread it. I'm recommending it because I remember how great it is, and I'm already in a chokehold. I was supposed to be productive this morning and I wasn't because I was reading it, y'all. It's so good. So good. 6 books. I don't think any of them are fairly super large. I think the last book is probably the biggest one. And I think it was like a little over 600 pages, which I think I did that in like a day, because my max is like 600 in a day at this point. I have definitely had a few off days and read multiple books in, one day. And it's happened, and it's going to happen again. I'm a very fast reader at this stage. And even then, I've slowed down significantly. So I used to be able to read like 800 in a day. But now I'm old and my eyeballs start hurting and looking at the screen all the time. Y'all, I ain't even going to front. I'm just not built for that anymore. Okay. So we have a like 600 page max, which is fine. But that series was so good. So good. It's a 10 out of 10, would recommend. You're going to get a little bit of everything. And there's phase. So you're going to get your fantasy, romantasy. I don't genuinely think I can say enough good things about this series. The next series that I physically buy will be that series, but groceries are expensive and I got other bills to pay first. So that's what's happening. I don't think that she could have done anything else to this series to make it better, other than that last feedback of that last book being a slightly shorter. But I really feel like she did set herself, and the only reason why I think it was longer is because I think she set it up to do a spin-off series of those characters that we needed to know more from. I can't say anything else without giving stuff away, and it wouldn't even make sense when you're reading the first book, because there's so many cliffhangers. Okay, cliffhangers galore. I think every book ends with a that's how they're all ending. Yeah, just be glad that the series is finished, because if it wasn't, I would be knocking on her door. I don't know where she lives. If I did, I still wouldn't tell people, but I would be knocking on her door. I'd be writing letters. I'm gonna DM. It's just gonna happen, because she did so good. But the cliffhangers were hanging. Okay? Hanging. Like Epstein said. They said. They said. Anywho, I really honestly probably could continue to talk about this book, and book series rather, and how complex she made each character. And the fact that, I feel like a lot of the time when we're reading reverse harems and or any kind of polyamorous romance, sometimes, the actual partners get lost in translation, and you don't really know who they are, how they got there, their past, their story, and I think she did a really fantastic job of giving us all of that. I can sit here and say, well, this one is acting like this one in here because his past, this is how he grew up. This is the trauma that he went through. You do start to deduce certain things, but a lot of the time, the main characters, that's all the authors focus on, and which is great. But then it often, when you have those polyamorous books like that with the romance, there's so much loss, and it's like you don't really know who they are. You just know that, okay, that's that husband or that mate or whatever. But it's so, I feel like, important to give us their backstories and give us who they are and how they are and what it took them to get there. Because it's not just as simple as saying, oh, I'm going to show up and now as a whole person or as this broken person. And I'm broken, but I'm not going to tell you why. It doesn't really make much sense. And so she makes it make sense. And even her going into detail about the other sub characters, supporting characters, ones that, pop up once or twice, maybe in the books, each book or something like that. But to find out their pathway to get to where they are currently, it was just amazing. Overall, amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend. 10 out of 10 reading it again. Plots a 10. Schmexy scenes are a 10. Oftentimes I feel like we get to the point where it's with enemies to lovers, because I feel like this is a really big enemies to lovers, both. Ooh, especially books 4 through 6. True enemies to lovers. Okay. True. We're talking about your mates have almost unalived you kind of thing. We're true enemies. Okay. True preying on your downfall. True enemies, y'all. Not none of those. Oh, you spray paint on me and you sent pictures of me and my underwear to the whole school. No. We're talking about trying to unalive. We're talking about relentless bullying. We're talking about physical harm, which obviously are not together. This is not me recommending or saying anything with like harm within a relationship with anybody is acceptable. I do want to make sure that is clear. Okay? It's not okay. Don't do it. Don't think about it. Don't do that. This is fictional. And there's no violence when they become lovers amongst themselves. There's violence outside of that, but there's no domestic violence involved in these. Okay? I am not encouraging this. No. But what I'm saying is, it's often not a true enemies to lovers in a lot of these books with the tropes and all of this. And with this series, it really, truly is. And you see them fighting to get to the lovers portion, especially books 4 through 6. Books 1 through 3 were great, exceptional, right? But books 4 through 6 were phenomenal. They were beyond exceptional. I don't even know. Superb. Okay. And the emotions that you go through the series, if a book can make me feel, if I'm crying, if I'm going through it, I'm always going to recommend it. So that being said, go read, go buy it, go download it on Kindle Unlimited if you have Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure where else it is. I know it's definitely on like Amazon for paperbacks and hardcovers, but I know that she was having some stocking, so I haven't looked recently. But they were on Amazon. They're on Kindle Unlimited for those that have those subscriptions. I know you can find them in Barnes and Noble. I think she's on a book tour with Blood of Hercules. So, and her site, her actual website, you can find them on there as well. So go read them. Enjoy. I just have, that's all I can really say is enjoy. Enjoy. Okay. Thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification, and then send it to your friends. Even if you don't read, it's okay. We love you here anyways. Thank you for coming to Flip a Page Friday. See y'all next time.